Welcome to Group Dates and Hot Takes, a Bachelor Nation podcast. I'm Sampy.
And I'm Christy. And we're recapping Michelle's season of The Bachelorette.
We are back for episode 6. Now, Christy, before we get into what I can only imagine is a metric buttload of drama from Bachelor Nation, I just want to say sorry to the entire world, to our listeners, because people, workers even, have been hammering and power tools all morning below my apartment. So if the episode sucks, 50% is that, 50% is us being boring. So with that out of the way, hopefully it's not noticeable. But let's I understand you have somewhat of a substantial list.
Yeah, Bachelor Nation kind of went crazy this week. I spent way too much time on Reddit.
Oh no.
Reading all the opinions and commentary. So actually, I don't remember what order. I think actually the Hannah and Peter stuff, which now seems like old news, but I think that was the first thing that dropped right after we recorded last week.
Right, the fact that there's this whole convoluted timeline of him and, like, I this is hyperbole, but, like, 7 other women at various different points.
That's not even that far off.
Oh, no.
I mean, it's such a shame you didn't watch Peter's season, because that was the one right before the pandemic hit, and it was just wild from start to finish. But he was basically involved with Hannah Ann, Maddie, and Kelly all within the span of like 2 or 3 months. Just nuts. But the big story was that he and Hannah slept together while his season was airing.
And isn't this the Hannah that got in trouble for, like, saying the N-word on a live stream or something?
Yes, that is the same person.
Who then, as I the little blurb I saw, slept with him, like, at his parents' house, and then had breakfast with them while his season was airing?
Yes.
Wow. That's
that's
so a hefty dose of awkward.
Yeah, I just can't imagine that, but I guess they're a very open family. And then he gave her $100 bill to use for her Uber.
Oh no, that's even worse though. That's like implications.
And oh no,
I'm sorry.
And then like, I guess called her maybe a couple weeks later, like, yeah, I'm still interested in Maddie. And so it's just like this whole big thing.
Oh, goodness gracious.
Yeah, so Hannah's book came out like yesterday, and it's full of all kinds of good tea, more than you usually get from Bachelor people books, I think. Because there was also a whole saga with Tyler C, and just so much.
And refresh me, Tyler C, is that who Matt was roommates with?
Yes, Tyler was on Hannah's season and made it to Final 2.
Oh, wow. I'm learning.
Yes.
Never thought.
That was already enough mess.
Yeah, so that's basically nothing now.
I know, like that just seems so far back. So then I think the next thing was Zach and Tayshia breaking up.
Oh no.
Which that's really sad, but I don't know. I guess I thought they'd make it longer.
Because how long had they? Because they were engaged. How long had they been engaged for?
I guess they got engaged end of summer of 2020 or so. That her season aired this time last year.
Yeah. So I did not watch her season.
Yeah, I liked her portion of the season.
See, here's what happened, in case people don't know. I watched Claire's season because I was like, oh, this would be funny to do, whatever. And then it just completely blew up, and I was like, ugh, I'm over it. And so then I didn't. Then they brought in Tayshia, and I paid zero attention to it. Didn't continue watching. and then somebody made me actually follow through and do the podcast, so then I had to start actually watching.
Yes. So it seems like Tasha's the one who ended it from stuff I've seen, but that's not like confirmed or anything.
Oh boy.
And then Zach's friend posted on his Insta stories this quote: "A king with the wrong queen can't protect the kingdom if his biggest threat is inside his own castle." So people are trying to infer that has something to do with the whole thing, but who knows?
And this is a probably more of a lukewarm take, but I'm not a huge fan of this trend of calling everybody kings and queens.
Yeah, same. It's too much.
Aw, you get it, queen. Yeah.
Yeah, so they are over. There's like rumors swirling around on the internet, but nothing seems to be for sure.
What's one of the most scandalous rumors you've heard?
One of them had to do with, you remember how I mentioned she and Zach ran the marathon together?
Mm-hmm.
There was some like report of somebody who maybe was jogging next to them and saying like, oh, Tasha wanted to take breaks, but like Zach wouldn't let her and kept like pushing her to keep going. But like maybe not in a nice way or something, but who knows if that's true.
The marathon that broke the camel's back.
I know. I saw people joking like, if my fiance made me run a marathon, I'd break up with him too. So
I mean, I can agree with that.
Yeah. So.
Well, I'm sure there's more drama.
Yes. Then, I guess, remember how I mentioned last week that Katie was doing this like 12 days of messy thing where she assigns a Taylor Swift song to each guy, or I guess some of the guys from her season? Well, the last day of the whole saga was Begin Again, and there had been like all this rumor swirling on Reddit that Katie and John might have been together once she broke up with Blake. And so yesterday she posted like a whole like video montage of the two of them with the song playing in the background.
Dr. John?
No, this is the John who got eliminated in week 2 that when he left all the guys clapped. I think he's like maybe half Asian, if that helps you remember what he looks like. But and like some of the footage that she put in this like video montage of them like in like a helicopter or something, or a plane, Blake is actually in that footage, or like who was there at the time. So it's just really messy.
Eesh.
Like she just broke up with Blake less than a month ago, and there's already this whole like thing going on with John. And then John posted a TikTok like basically confirming all of this. Blake unfollowed Katie yesterday.
Of course.
I just don't understand what Katie is doing. Like, this seems like there must have been some overlap here, because there are like videos and photos of Katie hanging out with John basically all this time, even while she was with Blake. And she also moved to San Diego where John lives, like while her season was airing.
That's real weird. Cause where was Blake? I mean,
Canada.
Oh, that's right. For some reason, I was thinking that she was the Canadian one.
Yeah, so like she was in Seattle area, I think, but then moved to San Diego, where John is. So, real messy.
That makes me a bit uncomfortable.
Yeah, a little suspicious.
Yeah, you'd like to think there isn't overlap if you've agreed to be monogamous with someone.
You'd think,
but what do I know? Hmm.
Yeah, so
That's a
about,
lot.
yeah, that's the end of the drama.
Well, the end of the Bachelor Nation drama, am I right?
hmm
Time for the episode drama. Dun dun dun. Because this is the last week before things really get going with hometowns and fantasy suites and engagement.
Yeah, I did not realize we were up to hometowns, basically. I thought we'd have another week, but we started with 8 and went down to 4.
Mm-hmm. I guess I will ask you then, how did you feel about the premise of this episode?
Oh, the kids basically, quote unquote, planning the dates.
Yes.
I actually thought it was kind of fun, like the activities they did. It's better than some of the other things we've done this season.
Yes, I just had absolutely zero trust that the kids had absolutely anything to do with anything.
I mean, no, the producers planned all of this. The only thing that may be slightly plausible was that limousine that was filled with like snacks. Because that seems like something a kid would like, but
A kid would like it, but would a kid be able to plan it?
no, this nothing happens without the producer's stamp of approval.
Oh boy. Yeah, so I guess first of all here we then have this big reveal that a smattering of Michelle's students across the what I can only assume is the ethnic and socioeconomic spectrum here, as well as, gotta have guys and girls as well. Gotta just do a whole thing like that. But they're kids. What do you say? Like, what grade does she even teach? I never remember.
5th grade, I think, or 4th grade.
So that means they would be 10 or 11, I guess.
Yeah, something like that.
Okay. So yeah, so basically they have to talk with the guys and decide who gets the one-on-one.
Yeah, so they put them through, like, I guess a series of challenges or just random activities.
Mm-hmm. Talk to me about that. Thoughts? Give me your thoughts on this.
I found the whole thing funny and entertaining. It's just like I didn't write down everything that they did, but somehow Rodney revealed he's been grounded once or twice, and he also has the worst breath according to the other men.
Well,
he keeps using mints or Listerine or whatever.
Yes, which they inferred means that he has the worst breath, but it could also just be he's very conscious because, when you're on The Bachelorette, if you're doing well, you're going to be doing a lot of kissing.
Yes, that's true.
So maybe Rodney has the best breath.
Yeah.
What did you think about Nate's handstand? Because I feel like didn't he do that in a previous episode? He successfully did a handstand for 0.3 seconds.
I just feel like he's too tall to pull that off just the way he was trying to do it in that room.
I mean,
he got up vertical, but then basically immediately flopped over.
I don't want to brag, but I have a super tall friend as well who's pretty similar body type of very tall, gangly, that sort of thing, and he can walk around on his hands. So,
well, he's probably practiced a lot more.
What I'm trying to say is, come on, Nate, bring your A game.
Well, he tried. As we've seen, he's not always the best at the sports stuff.
No, he's not. And I guess I will give him some points for trying if I have to.
We also had Martin giving a very bad
Oh,
impression.
oh.
Like, kids are very perceptive. They picked up on his BS.
I mean, I'm sure they were probably coached a little bit as well, but I'm sure. I mean, he's just such a ridiculous person.
They said he wears too much cologne, which totally fits.
Oh, I am not at all surprised by that statement
No.
whatsoever. Yeah, just
Oh.
very, very like falsely confident. It's real weird.
We also learned that Rodney shaves his nipples.
Look, guys can be hairy.
Mm-hmm.
I forget even why, like, what the question was by the kid.
Oh, yeah, there were a lot of like cuts where we just heard the guys revealing something without knowing.
I thought that we had seen the kid ask the question. I didn't write down what the question actually was. But yeah, an interesting revelation. I also, going back to Martin, like, clearly understands nothing about children whatsoever. And it's just like, yeah, kids. Michelle and I have had lots of intimate moments. It's just like, way to be gross
Creepy.
and creepy, and like, you think that's gonna impress 10 and 11-year-olds? Come on.
It did not.
I mean, there's a reason that Clayton got the one-on-one.
Yeah, I missed this, I guess, while it was airing, but they asked, "Have you farted in front of Miss Young?"
Mm-hmm.
And he said, "I might have."
Mm-hmm. Look, sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do.
Yep. Oh, he built a fort with them, and they seem to like him a lot.
Yeah, I mean, kids love pillow forts, blanket forts. I mean, they're incredibly cool. Obviously, Christy. Come on.
Mm-hmm. I remember building forts. That was fun.
Okay, well, I'm glad you've experienced that in your life, so you have a reference point and know.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So of course, Clayton wins because he knows how to get on the good side of children.
Yes, he wins the one-on-one, and he and Michelle drive away in a limousine filled with the snacks I mentioned earlier. And they arrive at a museum, which reminded me of the movie Night at the Museum.
Yeah, when they showed up, I was like, this is a bad idea, right?
Oh yeah.
You don't want to be there when the mammoth wakes up.
No, but
Which, of course, is not at all associated with actual reality, but still can't help but think that. I thought that this was a pretty solid date, personally.
yeah.
Like, I honestly, and I don't want to reveal too many personal details here, but I would love to do that sort of thing, like being able to just like go around and see everything without having to deal with like getting around people and trying to navigate all that and time everything. You can just wander around and do your stuff.
Yeah, it looked fun. Just look at all the exhibits and
Both of us were shocked, I think,
shocked at what?
that it was so fun.
Oh, yeah, because a lot of these bachelor dates aren't.
Pretty boring. TBH. Yeah, and just doing different weird little things around at the different exhibits. Like one of them, I guess it was it was like mimicking like a mating dance of this like crane or something. And so you stood on this circle so that there was a camera set to capture this circle. And so it was sort of like a video game type thing where the bird would like do part of its mating ritual, like his movement, and then you would be standing on the circle and you would try to mimic that, and if you like did it close enough it would ding positively, I guess.
Oh yeah. Almost like a We Just Dance kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, so like that sort of thing, and ended up kind of dancing around. Which I didn't think a whole lot of, but, you know. Christy, you're really crinkly right now.
Okay.
It sounded like you were, like, crinkling some foil or something. Sorry. So, what did you think about his dancing? Because I was not impressed. Michelle tried to put in a positive light.
I mean, I feel like she was just being nice, but it just looked a little awkward to me.
Yeah, just a little bit. But I guess, you're in the moment. You just get caught up in all of the emotions.
True, yeah.
What did you think of the whole butterfly thing?
Oh, I didn't mind that. I guess we've seen that sort of thing before where you gotta not catch, but like get questions that are hanging from the ceiling, answer them.
Yeah, they like attached little like scrolls of paper to little plastic butterflies and kind of hung them from the ceiling, and so I had to like take the net and jump up and get it or lift up Michelle and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the typical questions of, oh, what's your favorite holiday? Or, what if you could choose a superpower? What would your superpower be? Things like that.
Yeah. And then next they went to a planetarium with, I guess, a little presentation voiced by one of her students.
Yeah, it was sort of a planetarium show where you get kind of flown through the galaxy and have stuff like this is the Milky Way and it has this many stars, like that sort of thing, but it was her kids. I mean, I guess presumably maybe some of the 4 from earlier.
Oh yeah, I assumed it was one of them.
But. Yeah. Mhm. Yeah. I mean,
there just wasn't a whole lot there with them. It was pretty clear that they just don't have the same type of connection that her other frontrunners do.
Mhm. And we're getting down to the wire. Somebody's got to go.
Yeah, there's always somebody who gets sent home on a one-on-one each season.
Mhm. And can I just say here, of course, Martin does not miss an opportunity to be a butt.
Are you talking about when he's like questioning the roses Michelle has been handing out?
Well, yeah, because right, the guys who were not on the date were kind of talking about how at this point, since like they're in her hometown and the the actual hometown dates are happening soon, and like it's really close to the end of the season, they were kind of talking about how earlier in the season, a one-on-one didn't necessarily mean quite as much because it's so early, whereas now it's like she really has to decide legitimately whether or not to give a rose at that one-on-one versus like early on it's like, well, if you get a one-on-one you're gonna get the rose pretty much unless you're like terrible.
Yeah, that's true.
And so then of course he has to inject his nonsense and just like, yeah, like he better be going home because, you know, I've been kind of questioning the roses that she's been given out in her thought process here. And it's just like
The audacity to question the lead. Like, don't you know how that ends? Not well.
it ends with you being single.
Yes. Just so strange.
Yeah. So really, not a whole lot of substance. Like, you're great. I just want you to know that like you're amazing, and you know, just remember you're amazing. But also, like, go away, please.
Are you talking about Martin or Clayton?
I'm talking about Clayton now.
Oh, yeah. Their dinner conversation was just nothing.
Pretty much
really.
just ushering him out.
Yes. Michelle looked like just miserable almost compared to how she looks when she's with Nate, for example. Just wanted it to be over.
And then it was over. Which, of course, it had to be because he's the next Bachelor.
Yeah. Oh, it was just so. I also need to talk about, like, he gets sent home in the limo, but then, like, next day in his hotel room, these two students come and deliver 2 notes that for sure they didn't write.
Oh, yeah, the handwriting was not the handwriting of a child.
No.
That handwriting
not to mention the content of it either.
Yes. But I was looking at that, I'm like, my handwriting isn't even that good.
Yeah, it's just like I don't even want to try and summarize.
Yeah, basically it was like, oh, we're sad you didn't get to continue your journey, and you're really wonderful, blah blah blah. Which again, of course, is just kind of setting up like, look, because we really haven't had a whole lot of time to learn anything about him.
Yeah, we still don't know much about him.
Right. But I think they're trying to get some additional, like, emotional connection with us, you know, especially with how he's like, oh, you know, I just really want to be married, you know, find my forever person.
Yeah, but all the guys there want that.
But he wants it more, Christy.
It's just I don't like, did they know when he was being eliminated that he was going to be the Bachelor? That's what I really want to know, because they don't normally do stuff like this for somebody who goes out in 8th place with the 2 notes and the students coming to comfort him, and it's just was like really heavy-handed. So I was just kind of wondering, was the fix in all the way back then? And if not, why would they even bother to do that with him?
Or did they just, like, record all of that way later?
That seems unlikely. I know they will record, like, ITM interviews later, but I feel like they wouldn't go quite that far.
Look, Christy, I am a Bachelor conspiracy theorist, okay? I will believe anything.
Well.
Yeah, I really have no opinion, pretty much, of him. He made not very much impact at all upon me. So I guess we'll see how he does.
Yeah, I mean, I always enjoy the Bachelor seasons no matter who the lead is. So it doesn't really matter who they choose. It's just usually like when they choose the lead, it sort of makes sense because they had like this big like heartbreak. Usually they have left in the top 4, but when you leave before hometowns, it just doesn't have the same emotional impact. It's kind of like when they chose Katie. And we see how that turned out.
Oh dear. Katie
So,
2.0.
I hope not. He seems a little more grounded.
Right. He's just similarly talking about, just really wanting to find a partner so bad, which gave me a little bit of deja vu.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Well, let's move on from that buzzkill to dun 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 the farm date.
Oh, I always love watching the farm dates.
Which I guess I'm sure it will be apparent eventually, but Brandon was left off of this to have the one-on-one later.
Oh yes. So they first milk some cows.
Yeah, and I wasn't totally sure because it felt a little bit like it was sort of supposed to be a competition, but it may have just been them doing that because it never ended up being anything more formalized.
No, I think it was more of an impromptu, like, oh, Joe and Nate are both milking at the same time. Let's see who gets the most.
Well, because like they ended up like measuring all of the output.
Yeah.
I don't know. That was a little strange, but yeah, time to go to the farm and do some farmy stuff.
I loved how Rodney was like, I've switched over to almond milk. Man, Rodney is so entertaining.
I know. I'm a pretty big Rodney fan myself. I just really like his sense of humor and his ability to just kind of be silly yet serious and doesn't take himself too seriously, which I think can kind of be lacking in certain people.
Martin.
I didn't say it. You're the one who said it. I didn't say it. Yes, it was always funny to see Martin on this thing because it was like there were a number of things. It was like milking cows, feeding the milk
The calves,
to bottle calves, and like churning butter and shoveling manure. And whenever you see a shot of Martin, he's looking uncomfortable, even if he's not the focus of the shot. It was
oh man, when he
hilarious.
When he was trying to milk the cow and he was like using 2 fingers.
And he said something along like, "Oh, like I got dirty" or something like that. Very funny.
Yes.
Yes, I mean, how would you react to doing this stuff?
Milking the cow? I mean, I'm definitely not a farm person. Definitely more of a city girl. But I don't think I would care that much about like getting my hands dirty. Like you can always wash your hands or wear gloves. Like it's not that big of a deal. I just am not a big animal person, I guess.
Well, we'll have to find you a cow to milk at some point. It's a life-changing experience.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah, I was impressed with Joe's comfort level here.
Yes.
Really dived in, which I guess I guess he has family members who own or
A dairy
owned
farm.
a dairy farm, so I guess he had some contact with it, which makes sense.
Yeah.
Which of course Nate was not happy about.
Yes, Nate was in competition with him the whole time.
Couldn't surpass his farming ability.
No. He even like injured his back when they were shoveling the manure.
No, Christy, that was a ploy. It was a total ploy. He just wanted to go kiss Michelle.
I thought he actually did hurt his back.
No, I don't believe that for a second.
Oh, well, he fooled me then.
That's why Rodney kind of yelled over at them and had the ITM where it's like, I saw he was like trying to get some more Michelle time, and I had to nip that in the bud. Which was pretty funny, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, it was just a fun date to watch.
Oh, and let me tell you, we needed a couple fun dates after all of the drama that there's been over the previous episodes.
Mm-hmm.
We needed a little bit of a good time.
Yep. So then we headed to the night portion. I guess Nate was up first.
And that was... Yes, but I mean, please go ahead and describe it. I was just like, wow, that's kind of something.
Yeah, I guess his dad never wanted to meet whoever he was dating. I'm not really sure why, but I guess his dad didn't talk about girls with him at all. But Michelle is like the first person he actually wants to bring home.
Oh boy.
His dad.
Oh boy, those are some serious feelings, Christy.
Yep, he said he's strongly falling for her.
Look, their relationship is progressing. It's
Yep.
It's getting there.
Yeah, she's saying what she's allowed to, saying she feels very strongly about him as well.
Yep. I will never not find that hilarious.
Yeah, all the little like descriptors and qualifiers.
Yeah. Make sure you don't say it too specifically.
No, got to keep your options open.
Yeah.
So she chats with Joe next, and that's where he reveals the whole thing about his grandparents owning a farm.
She likes Joe as well.
Yep. At this point, it just looks like a 2-person race.
You don't think that Rodney has what it takes? You don't think their relationship has progressed far enough?
Not quite the same as Nate and Joe, but then Martin.
Yes.
He's go ahead.
I was just gonna say, he does everything I imagine a person would do who is trying to get sent home.
Yes, he did. It's just everything. I think he's talking to the guys maybe at this point and saying like, oh, Michelle perceived everything incorrectly in the last convo where he's talking about high maintenance and all that nonsense. And then also, like, he apparently thinks that Michelle, like, talking about her feelings and not feeling seen means there's something deep inside her that she hasn't worked past. Just once again, the audacity. I don't get it. And then they sit down and he just feeds her all these compliments. So he's just two-faced on top of everything.
Oh yeah. That dude has something deep inside that he hasn't worked past.
Stop calling the kettle black.
I mean, oh dear Lord, what a person. Do you think that Olu bringing it up hastened his demise, or do you think he would have gone home either way?
He would have gone home either way, but probably sped it up. Because he tells Michelle like he has concerns about Martin, and that Martin thinks Michelle is immature for still dealing with her issues of being seen.
Yeah, because I mean, he's literally told the guys like all of those things.
Yeah. Like, how did he not think that wasn't going to make its way back to Michelle?
I don't know.
And interesting here, Michelle knows that Olu is trustworthy. She doesn't even like question, oh, he said kind of thing.
I mean, you don't get that many muscles by not being trustworthy. Yeah, I just the circles that the mental circles he runs through is just unbelievable.
Yeah, and so Michelle then has to confront Martin. I guess this is actually as she was about to hand out the group date rose. She's like, pulls him aside. And he like denies everything at first, but then like starts talking about how she has insecurities. And they just kind of go around in circles. He keeps interrupting her, and eventually she's just like, okay, I don't trust you.
Get out of here.
You haven't been honest.
What a dum-dum.
And then the audacity continues as he's in the limo driving away, talking about how he's upset how Michelle handled it. Not that he's upset. He's not upset that he didn't get to go to hometowns, but that he just thinks she'll find out she made a mistake. Wouldn't even care to give her a shot. Feels sad for her. She doesn't deserve his time.
Oh, oh my word.
Just the villainy increasing as you leave.
I mean, I do wonder what his family is like.
Oh, man.
Do they all have the same haircut?
I sure hope not. I really didn't like him.
Yeah. Good riddance.
So Nate gets the rose, and then as she's like leaving the group of guys, she like whispers to Olu, "Thank you for having my back."
And still sends him home.
Yep.
R.I.P. Yeah. I just, I mean, I understand on some level, but I also do not understand at all how people like that exist. It's just like a very specific type of like selfishness and narcissism that is very annoying. Not a huge fan about that.
And a lot of those personality types seem to show up on this show.
I mean, I guess I'm not totally surprised because if we're in the Instagram era, I feel like that type of person is more likely to go ahead and like either have somewhat of a follower base initially to show enough promise to get on the show, or go through the hoops necessary to get on the show more readily than somebody who is just more normal, perhaps.
Yeah, that's probably true.
But let's talk about happy things, can we, please?
Yes, Brandon. I mean, Brandon has been like all in on her from the beginning. But until this episode, I didn't really see it with them.
He's here for the right reasons.
Yeah, I never doubted that. I just never got quite the same connection that she had with like Joe and Nate.
Mm-hmm.
But that definitely changed here.
Yeah, because And I will say, this was a very physical date.
Yeah.
Made me a little uncomfortable.
Well, first they get ice cream, which is innocent enough.
No, it wasn't. There was all sorts of making out. Come on, Christy.
Oh, well, that's normal for a date on this show.
Ugh. Look, I don't want to see any ice cream related shenanigans, all right? Oh, man, I got ice cream on my face. I guess you just have to suck it off like a vacuum cleaner.
Did they do that?
I mean, not exactly, but...
Oh.
It was pretty bad. That's all I'm saying, okay?
I guess maybe I was taking notes and I missed it. Oh, then they drive to her parents' house, but supposedly her parents are gone, which
Yeah, sure.
I was like, okay, I'm not so sure about that. But they like walk through the house, look at photos, and then
wait, you can't not mention they got to see her childhood room that she grew up in, and got to sit on her bed
and make out.
Yes, I mean that goes without saying.
And so then for some reason she's like, let's get in the pool.
Well, isn't it more of like a jacuzzi type thing? It didn't seem like it was a proper pool. Or maybe they were in maybe there was also a jacuzzi and they were in that later. I don't know. Some water related activity.
But of course Brandon doesn't have his swim trunks with him.
No.
So there's only one thing left to do, and that's loan
get him
him
in a bikini. Sorry.
No, it's loan him a pair of her dad's swim trunks. Which I thought growing up, I was told like that's the same as like sharing underwear. If you were to like share swimwear.
Who told you this?
So why don't you guess? I just always equated those as the same. So I'm like, oh, he's now essentially wearing her dad's underwear.
I mean, look, you could definitely make an intellectual and even an emotional argument for that, for sure. I'm just saying there were definitely families that I knew growing up who would like have guest swim trunks essentially, or like lend a pair of swim trunks, for an afternoon or something like that if you didn't have it. Because otherwise, I mean, really, it's either that or he's just in his underpants.
Yeah,
which we know we know. Well, that's not the only reason, but we don't want that.
No.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, they go and get in the pool and make out.
Mm-hmm. And of course, dun 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 dun. Who comes through the house but the parents?
Yeah, and then they
with a film crew.
Yes. And they interrupt them
as they're making out, basically. Well, no, not basically. They actually were. If the shots were to be believed.
I know there was a lot of cutting back and forth, and there wasn't like a continuous shot of them entering, swinging to the pool, but they were like all together. And it was very funny and awkward. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
They're like getting out of the pool, trying to sort of hug, shake hands.
Yes, slightly awkward situation.
Yeah, but then they magically get changed and dried off. Mm-hmm. And I meant to go back and look, but Michelle's hair was like perfectly done. So I don't know if there was like a huge chunk of time between there or if she never got her hair wet.
No, Christy, come on. You should know this. You don't get your hair wet in the pool.
I know, but I didn't remember if she had it tied up or not.
I believe she did.
Okay.
Yeah, because, you're not going to go into the pool like that.
No.
I I mean, obviously you can. It's not like you can't get your hair wet. It's just as a woman, it's much more time intensive to dry your hair, and then also there's the chlorine consideration, as I know you are well aware and afraid of.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
For sure. So yeah, so they get to have a nice little chat with her parents, which, I mean, is this even legal, Christy? He's getting a hometown before it's hometown.
I know, like, it was very out of order. And, like, advanced. Like, this would not normally happen until the final two. What he essentially did.
Unbelievable. I am livid.
He jumped the gun a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'm sure he was happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
He's like, ooh, my relationship is progressing.
Yes, he reveals he wants 3 kids, which coincidentally is the same number Michelle wants.
Whoa, who could have predicted that? I'm pretty sure it's the exact number Clayton said, too. It's a safe number.
Yes.
Not too many, but to mask your true feelings about it, but also not so few that you get rejected because you didn't want enough kids.
Yes, it's a perfectly safe number.
Oh, man. I guess her parents liked their chemistry, but I was just like, and you may want to talk about stuff from before that in the conversation perhaps, but I was just like, when he asked to talk to them by himself.
I know.
And then he's like, asks for their blessing if because he would never want to, like, disrespect them or whatever, and so he would want their blessing to, like, propose to her, and so he asked for their blessing if he's still there later.
Yes. Because once again, we are still at the top 8.
Oh, man. And if Mom diplomatically handled it.
Yeah, like, oh, we trust her. She's happy. We have our blessing. All that.
Oh, man. Wow. Talk to me about this nighttime.
Yeah, he says this is the best he's ever felt. He loves her parents, hopes he made a good impression. And she asked who she would meet if he gets a hometown, and he tells her she'll meet his parents and brothers, or brother, I forget. And then he reveals that the person he really wanted her to meet was his grandpa, but unfortunately his grandpa has already died.
They do that.
Yeah, grandpa was his best friend, and he really wanted him to meet his future wife.
Sad.
And then he pulls out a bracelet that his mom made beforehand.
What did you think about that?
I forget the jargon that came with it, but I mean, Michelle seemed to appreciate it. It was maybe a bit much for me, but...
Well, I was just thinking more, again, like we've said many times, this is still the top 8.
True. Yeah, he is pulling out all the stops today.
Look, he wants to go all the way. I mean, come on.
I mean, he might, like, before this episode, I thought it was just a 2-horse race between Nate and Joe, but now Brandon has entered the picture, and I think gives them some serious competition.
Even though you know what happens in the end.
In theory, yes, but we'll see.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I would agree with your assessment of this situation. He's really progressed his relationship a lot this week.
Yep, he tells her he's falling in love with her.
Mm-hmm.
He
Yeah.
obviously gets the rose.
Yeah, Yeah, I mean, you can't send him home after that. That would that would be unfortunate. But like, now that you've met my parents, goodbye. It's like it's an unwritten rule. If you meet the person's parents before hometowns, you automatically get sent home. I'm guessing that is not a rule since he is still around.
No, I think there was one. I want to say Hannah Brown met Colton's parents and was also eliminated around that time. But I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think that's what happened. But anyway, it is time for the cocktail party.
Or is it?
Yeah. I mean, I looked at the clock and it was like 9:51. And I was like, okay. Oh, I hope they don't leave us on a cliffhanger.
There's not going to be a cocktail party.
No. TK enters and Michelle already knows what she wants to do. And you're going straight to the rose ceremony.
Yeah, which makes Rodney and Olu a bit anxious. Dun, dun, dun.
So, Nate and Brandon already have roses, and so there's just 2 left to hand out. And obviously Joe was getting one. And then Rodney got the last one.
Which I was glad for.
Yep. I'm afraid he may get sent home next week, though.
I mean, so we got to get down to 2, right? After next week? Or we'll just get down to 3?
It should just be 3.
Oh, that's right, because 3 will go to the fantasy suites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I think that that's probably true. I think that as much as I like him as a person, I don't think that he has the same advantage and footing with Michelle that Nate, Brandon, and Joe do.
Yeah.
Who would you like? There's really nobody of those 3 that you would swap out for him based on what we know.
No, I would definitely put Rodney at a clear 4th place.
Yeah, so goodbye, Rick, you decapitated lettuce man. Goodbye, I don't know if this is what the internet calls him, but I know we have a friend and listener who calls him Swolu because he's so muscular.
Yeah.
But Olu gets sent home as well. Sad.
Yeah.
And that's the end.
Yep. We have the little tag at the end where one of the students is painting Clayton's nails.
Well, you started out painting her nails.
Yeah.
And then she insisted she return the favor.
Yeah, then there was this line where she predicted he'll be the next Bachelor.
Yeah, that was definitely legit and not scripted.
Yeah. A little suspicious, the timing of all that.
Perhaps just a slight amount.
Yep.
But yeah, so are we going to then get... I'm trying to think this through. We're going to get 4 more episodes? Because hometowns theoretically then men tell all, then fantasy suites, then end?
Yeah, that sounds right.
Okay. And then, I guess, immediately go into Clayton's season then? Is that true?
Clayton starts in January, so there's probably a week or 2 off.
Okay.
You know, it's weird, they haven't even, done any sort of, teaser on TV or anything about the fact that Clayton's the Bachelor.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they will now that he's finally eliminated. And they feel like maybe they can start actually promoting.
Yeah, maybe next week? I don't know.
I would guess it would be, sometime in the next couple weeks. They gotta get on it because, I mean, we're basically at the end of November already, so
Mm-hmm.
chop, chop, ABC, chop, chop. So after a very slow start, we ended up with 20 kisses that I saw and recorded.
I'm guessing a good chunk of those were Brandon.
That is absolutely correct, yes. Because he was trying to eat her for lunch. Like, literally, she's like, oh, I don't do this ever, but I'm gonna take you to my parents' house. And they show up, and he's like, we're at your house? And then, like, basically jumps on top of her from the passenger seat in the car.
Mm-hmm.
Well, good for him, I guess.
Yeah, if he made it to the top 4.
Mm-hmm. Really, some good longevity, staying power there. But how can people reach us?
You can email us at groupdatespod@gmail.com or follow us on Instagram, Group Dates Podcast.
Mm-hmm. Yes, we love talking to people about the Bachelor franchise, Bachelor Nation. It's definitely one of Christy's favorite things.
That is true.
She hates talking, but if you get her going on The Bachelor, watch out. Talk your ear right off.
Maybe.
Don't pretend you're all innocent there, Christy. I know how that goes. Because she's dedicated to Bachelor Nation. And I hope everyone appreciates that.
I try my best.
This has been Group Dates and Hot Takes, a Bachelor Nation podcast. I'm Sampy.
And I'm Christy. We'll talk to you next week.